Hartford defense attorney Jim Bergenn, who is not associated with this case, but we have come to you and asked for your expertise since June.
And Jim, you've been poring over the arrest warrants, I know, all day long, including up until about 2 minutes before you came up on the air with us. I want to start with this third character who's entered the picture now, Kent Mawhinney, and the warrant. As you were just reading, has some pretty eye-opening stuff, some eyebrow-raising, perhaps I should say. And among them, holes found in the ground at a hunting club that the hunters who found it believed looked like a grave, a hunting club which has a connection to Kent Mawhinney. There are dots there, but I'm not sure they all connect together, right?
Well, there's nobody who's going to look at those dots and not connect them. Mm-hmm. In a criminal prosecution, you have to prove those dots connect beyond a reasonable doubt. Mm-hmm. But the dots that are in there include he bought the property. He started this little club. He's not been in this club for a few years, but then just a couple months before the disappearance, he's interested in going back to the club. Mm-hmm. And two of his buddies who are members of the club, they don't know that he's been back interested, and they're just walking around doing their hunting on these 25 acres, and they come upon what looks like a grave.
With a tarp and bags of lime in the bottom, and yet there was no body ever actually found there.
But that was before the disappearance.
This is correct.
It really is what prosecutors dream of in terms of intent.
And his phone pinged there in March, according to the arrest warrant, and then a few days after Jennifer Dulos went missing in May. I think it was May 31st, according to the arrest warrant.
And of course, these guys, when they discover it, they don't know what the heck it is. So they just kind of, and then they clean it up, and then they go back later, because they didn't know anybody missing. Later, they kind of put two and two together, and they tell the authorities, and they go out and look. It looks like nothing's ever been there.
All right, but we need to get back to Jennifer and Fotis and Michelle Troconis at this point, because that's what the drama really surrounds here. And what we have here is a murder case that's going to have to be made without a body recovered. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a very bad way to start if you're a prosecutor, and a great way to start if you're a defense lawyer. On the other hand, the kind of evidence that they have, which, as you pointed out at the top, includes their own DNA in the bags where they're seen, and she admits that's them disposing of them. There was something floated earlier, I believe, in the case. Well, Gone Girl may have tried to pin it on him, so she would have left some evidence.
That was Norm Pattis, his attorney, bringing that up.
Well, why would someone go to the extra bother of adding these zip ties? I mean, you don't need that to propel the story about, here, let me get you in trouble.
Right.
Zip ties? Everybody knows what zip ties are used for. People watch lousy movies. You just wrap people up.
Sure.
Do you think this is a strong case against Fotis Dulos and Michelle Troconis at this point?
Well, put it this way. Norm Pattis is a very good lawyer. He's got a lot of work to do. It's strong enough that if it's well tried, that is to say, where the prosecutors don't over-try the case and they keep it tight, I think a jury is very prone to find beyond a reasonable doubt. But that's entirely up to the jury, who study things at a level of detail even we haven't gotten to.
Well, things do. I mean, once you get into trial and you have a jury sitting there, and as you said, if Norm Pattis does his job, there's just a lot of evidence to go through here. There's a lot of detail. We've talked about the bags that were disposed of in Albany. There's the timeline, all the vehicle sightings, all of the videotape. There's a lot of evidence to go through, and it can be confusing for a jury, sometimes difficult to keep up with, maybe.
Right. So that's why a prosecutor's job is to come up with all the most important evidence and not other stuff that just confuses things, or never over-try. My work as a defense lawyer, I've had sometimes good success because I just wait for a prosecutor, just can't wait to throw something else in. That's crap. And then I can tell the jury, well, why would they put that in? You know that's not true. Makes you have to think about everything else. So that's the kind of thing that Norm will be ready to do, so they have to be very measured and very, well, they got a lot of dots to connect.
Jim, is there a possibility that more evidence could come out during the trial, some kind of bombshell that state police have that they didn't put in these arrest warrants?
Very unlikely, because constitutionally you are required to give Fotis his rights to a fair trial and to the assistance of counsel. Well, counsel has to do the same thing that the police have done and the prosecutor have done. They got to study the evidence, got to get experts. So they're going to have to unload almost everything. It would have to be newly discovered and not reasonably discoverable earlier.
All right, Jim Bergenn, a defense attorney, joining us tonight as you have all day long. We certainly appreciate your expertise.
Thank you so much.
Let me know.
We're